Those hills are not so benign. An old book records when John, 6th Earl of Sutherland, was travelling with his revenue in the year 1602. His harper, one Donald Maclean, perished at the glen of Loth for a sudden snowstorm. I'm thinking of Janet Horne, who came from these parts, and the last witch to be executed in Scotland. Mr. James Fraser, Minister of Alness, writes in April 1727 to his friend Mr. Robert Woodrow, Minister of Eastward, "Since I saw you in Edinburgh in last May, there had been a great noise of witchcraft in the parish by Loth, of which the minister said he'd had suffered. He'd not yet recovered. However, the thing had been examined to two that women were, I know, before the presbytery. 2 years before, Janet Horne was tested and found to be a servant of Satan, because, among other signs, she stumbled over the opening words, and we asked to recite the Lord's Prayer in a native Gaelic. Yet another Church of Scotland minister, Francis Hutchinson, was in Dublin writing treatises on beauty, order, harmony and design, and on moral good and evil. 2 years after Jane's execution, Hutchinson became Professor of Moral Philosophy at Glasgow University. He was an intellectual precursor to what became known as the Scottish Enlightenment. That action is best, he wrote, with procedures its greatest happiness for the greatest numbers, and that worst which, like manners, occasional misery. 200 miles to the north, superstitions and sanctimonious majority would have condemned Hutchinson's view that humans can distinguish between virtue and vice without reference to, or even knowledge of God. But through the action of burning Janet in a barrel might have pleased them, surely it cannot have made them happy. And what of the minister of Loth? He's yet recovered. Perhaps he never did mend, for he died 13 years later, still in his 40s. Did he carry Janet's mischief to the grave, or did he feel it crumbling in his bones? Did the noise from Loth ring in his ears, even if he left this world and stepped in assurance into fear, or into the next?